Hey guys, this is Jimmy from Primer is Best. Do you ever look back on your life and you think to yourself, let me speak for myself, okay? Do you ever look back on your life and you think to yourself, what an idiot I am, what a dummy I am for not seeing things going on around you that I guess were pretty evident, I guess. I don't know, but let me tell you what I'm thinking about. Uh, I've been doing stories, videos of, where I used places I've worked at and, uh, things that's happened in my life. Let me tell you this situation that I was in, and I didn't really know I was in it, but I was in it. Uh, I was I was married, and my now ex-wife, the Lord was kind to me and got rid of her. But at the time, I had had a child by her. And let me give you my morning routine, starting from when I get up out of bed. I'd have to be at work at I think it was 4:30 in the morning, and I got off at 3. So, and I was a welder and working on petroleum tanks. If you see the tanker trucks, bringing gasoline to your filling station, gas station, that's what we built. Okay, I was a welder, aluminum welder, and I'd be at work at 4:30 every day, never missed. I was never late. It's like clockwork, and and I would okay. I'm getting up out of bed. I'm making myself something to eat. Some little like Pop Tart or something. Just something to eat. A bowl of oatmeal, instant oatmeal, or bowl of cereal. Drinking me a cup of coffee. Getting ready for work. Brushing my teeth. How you do to get ready to get ready to leave for the day. Uh, So I was doing that, and and every morning, my wife, my ex-wife, my wife at the time, she was a stay-at-home mom. She had had a child previously, and then I had a child by her when we got married. So she was taking care of the two children, and all that kind of stuff, and taking care of the bills, cooking, cleaning, while I was at work all day. And so I would, like I said, I was getting ready for work. Uh, I'd I'd make her a cup of coffee. Hang on. Sorry about that, guys. I had a phone call I had to take. Anyway, I think I was talking about I get up in the morning, eat me something real quick for breakfast, brush my teeth and all that kind of stuff. Head out to work. I'd leave about, I don't know, 4 in the morning, 4:15. My workplace wasn't too far from me, and so I'd wake up my wife, tell her I was leaving. Hope she had a good day, blah blah blah, and said I got you a cup of coffee in the microwave. All you gotta do is hit start and make you a cup of coffee, And I was under the impression she was going to sleep, a little bit longer, get the kids up, get them ready for school, and do all that kind of stuff. But my neighbor told me uh, after my after my wife and ex-wife and I had already split up, my wife left me, and she said, divorced me. And he said, Jimmy, he said, I can still see your taillights going down the road. He said, when this other feller pulls into your driveway. And, he said, a lot of times he said he'd stay right up until time when it's time for you to come home. He'd leave just 2 or 3 minutes right before you come home. Like I said, I never missed work. I was always on time, didn't leave early, none of that. I was always there, like clockwork. You could count on me. So, wound up with my son. Make a long story short, I'm telling you little tidbits here and there. Wound up with my son. Anyway, he lived with me, and my my ex-wife had run off, and so I was going to make him something to eat. Now, I'm not a cook. I can't cook worth a hoot. Anything instant, I can make instant coffee, oatmeal, I can make hot dogs, peanut butter and jelly, stuff like that. I can, but I never have been a cook. Uh, I can boil eggs, believe it or not. Anyway, so I was going to make my son something to eat. I got a pack of hot dogs and some buns, and I was going to turn on the oven, warm up the oven, put them on a pan. And I opened up the oven door, and every dish that we had, I mean, this is right after my ex wife left, every dish, every plate, everything I picked up in the counters, in the kitchen counter, and all crammed up in the oven was all full of dirty dishes, pots and pans, all of it dirty. And what it was, my ex wife was making breakfast for this other guy, making him scrambled eggs. She was getting up right after I left. I don't even think I was probably out of the driveway, and she was already up getting ready for him. I'm going to make him a breakfast. Really? Anyway, uh, after we were divorced, and I thought we were good on credit cards and stuff. I didn't know she was buying that guy, everything, and he was a friend of mine at the time. And she was buying him everything, shirts, pants, all that stuff. Now, guys, I had two pair of pants, two pair of blue jeans. That's all I had. One of them had a hole in it. So I would try to wear the pair of jeans that had a hole in it. I would try to wear it on Friday. So if we done something on the weekend, my wife would be home with me on the weekends. If we done something on the weekends, I'd have on a pair of blue jeans, and nobody would know that the hole in my blue jeans, that I had changed pants. I was trying to give the impression I had more than two pair of jeans. That's how poor I was. And there she was buying him brand new white shirts, and I seen the receipts. Anyway, she maxed out all the credit cards. I mean, maxed out everything, quit washing dishes, anything. Wasn't it a mess? Oh my goodness. And I didn't even know I was in it. Like I said, I didn't even know. All I was doing was working. Coming home, I got paid on Thursdays. Yeah, Thursdays. We'd go to the grocery store, buy our groceries, for two kids, her and myself. And I guess I was buying groceries for him to feed him, too, the boyfriend she had. So, such a mess I was in. And then I was going, to work with a boss that didn't appreciate you. Like I said, wherever I go, guys, I know you don't believe this, but wherever I worked, I always tried to stay joyful. I was always singing. I was always, doing something to brighten the day up, making a joke, telling a joke or whatever, uh, but I've had bosses like this one boss I had. Let me tell you this. The plant manager we had, she was a woman, and she used to be out on the floor working just like me. She was a worker on the floor. Somehow, I won't say how she got where she's at, but she got where she's at. Plant manager. I, I could I could walk by her, and it was kind of I just done it just, I guess, just to see if it would ever change. But her and I could be in the hallway walking. She would be coming toward me, toward me, facing me. I'd be facing her, walking in opposite directions, and I could say good morning to her, and I know she heard me. Good morning. How are you this morning? Nothing. Wouldn't even speak to me. That was the plant manager, and that is the same way some of the bosses were that I worked for too. I had a boss that would, I could walk by her, my boss, and I could walk by her and say, "Hello, how you doing?" Or "Hey, what's going on?" Just something, just to acknowledge, "Hey, I'm saying hello to you. Good morning," and wouldn't speak. She could walk by my robot. At the time I was working, robot welding and fixing the mistakes a robot made. I could walk, she could walk right by me, never speak. I mean, if you're a boss, in management, uh, wouldn't you want your employees to be, happy and in good spirits, and act like, we're all in this together? And but she could go to other folks, and her friends that she hung out with after work and hee haw and laugh and all this other stuff. And but they'd cut up and have a good time. Hey, what's going on? Blah 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 blah. She'd come by me because I didn't hang out after work. I wouldn't uh, buttering up, I guess, what you'd call it, lack of another word or two. But she wouldn't speak. Nothing. She's the same woman that I've got several videos like why I retired when I did and stuff on this channel, Primer Is Best. Why I sold all my old cars and my old trucks in order to retire. She's the one that if you worked 3 months in a row, never missed a day, never was late, never went home early, nothing. 3 months in a row, you got one day, one free day, not a paid day, just a free day. As long as you gave them 24 hours notice, you could take that day at any time, no questions asked, anytime. So at the time I was driving a little old Ford Ranger, 93 model. It wouldn't worth a hoot in snow. It just wasn't. It just stand there and spin. So we supposed to get a lot of snow here in East Tennessee. And so the day before the snow hit, I went in early that morning. Her and the supervisor, plant superintendent were there talking at their desk, and I told her, I said, if it snows tomorrow, I said, I'm going to take a personal day. I had several built up. I hadn't missed no days. So I'm going to take a personal day. And man, she just chewed me up one side and down the other. I said, I'm taking a personal day. I said, I've got these days built up. I can take them at any time as long as I give you 24 hours notice. I said, I'm giving you 24 hours notice. I went in before work started. So that was more than 24 hours. And her and I argued for 15 or 20 minutes in that office, and the superintendent sitting there, knowing, that was my right to take that day at any time. If it had been one of her friends, it'd have been no questions asked, nothing. But because, I'm not in the pack, whatever, clique, group, she just gave me a hard time. I said, I've already had 2 accidents trying to get to work in snow. I said, I'm not going to wreck my truck. It's not worth it. I said, I live on the side of a hill. I'm not going to slide down the hill and wreck my truck because this truck won't go in the snow. It won't. So anyway, that went on for a long time, 15, 20 minutes. By then I was pretty upset, and she couldn't stand the sight of me anyway. For some reason, I don't know why. I honestly don't know why. Every time she asked me to do something, I done it. So, but like I said before, sometimes the ones that's in a clique or you're related to them, or maybe you go fishing buddies, or you can basically walk off with the whole plan in your pocket. Nobody's going to say nothing. But I'm not like that. So anyway, the funny part about it was, the ironic part is, my wife and I were at a store one time after I'd already retired. We were at a thrift store doing something, well, looking around like we always do, just looking around at stuff at the thrift store. and I seen somebody running toward me. And when they got right up on me, I seen it was my old boss that give me the hard time all the time. And she run up and hugged me. And it took me aback. I mean, I didn't know what to do. And for the first few seconds, I just froze. I thought, this lady can't stand me. What is she doing? She was hugging me. And when I realized she was hugging me, I I realized that she was trying to say, I'm sorry for treating you that way. She almost got teary-eyed. And so I hugged her back. And I told her, I said, it's good to see you. I said, how you doing? Same things I said at work. No response. She was willing to talk to me. So I don't know. I just thought it was ironic, but I'm just telling you little things. Some people said that they'd like to hear more stories. Here's some of the stories. But my ex-wife that left me for my buddy, they didn't stay together. He had a bunch of other girlfriends, and my my wife, my ex-wife, didn't know it. So I think it's kind of ironic. And she tried to get back with me, but I was done. You see, I was done. I done figured her out. And with somebody like that, after you find out how bad you got mistreated and you didn't know it, uh, can't trust them. No, 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 you can't trust them again. I wouldn't. So, but I did get my son. My son wound up living with me, and to tell you how this worked out for me, and I'm going to tell you this. I'm going I'm going to tell you this story. My my son, what how divorces go. That the children normally stay with the mom most of the time, 99%, I guess. Anyway, so I talked to my ex-wife, and I was poor as dirt, poor. Didn't have 2 nickels. I was poor, and I told her, I said, I'll tell you what I'll do. I said, you go to a car lot, and I said, pick out any car you want. Hang on, guys. Sorry, guys, that's my wife calling this BIB. Boy, she's a keeper. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, I told my ex-wife, I said, go to any car lot. I said, pick out any car you want. I said, I'll pay for it. I'll pay for it. I said, just let me have my son, our son, my son. Because she was dragging him around, him and the other little boy she had prior to. And she would, I was told this later, but she was taking those 2 boys to school like at 5 and 6 in the morning, dropping them off at school. So they'd sit there in the dark, on the steps, I guess, at school, or played on the playground or something. I don't know. Early in the morning, before anybody was even at school. Can you believe that? I got to thinking about that, and so I said, you go pick out any car you want. I said, somehow I'll pay for it if you'll just let me have my son full time. I said, I'll take good care of him. I said, you can see him every other weekend. I said, I'll take care of him. I said, I'll buy his food. You don't have to pay no child support. I'll buy the food, clothing, whatever he needs for his well-being, I'll pay for it. She wouldn't do it. She wouldn't. She said, you think you can buy your son for a car? I mean, she's making fun of me. We were talking on the phone. I could tell the tone of her voice. But let me tell you what happened about that. I prayed to the Lord Jesus Christ and God the Father. I prayed. I prayed. I prayed. Oh my goodness, I prayed. And I asked the Lord, Jesus Christ to, I said, Lord, I said, would you please let me have my son so I can take care of him? I said, give him a good life, give him a good start, feed him and make sure he gets a bath every day. Make sure, that he gets his homework done, make sure he's clothed, make sure he has shelter, make sure he has, a decent life, that, every day where everything's basically the same. You go to school, you come home, you get a bath, you get your homework done, and you get something to eat, go out to eat with your dad or me or something. They had kids days at the time at certain restaurants, so you could eat really cheap. Remember, I can't cook, so we I, I won't tell you everything I told the Lord. I remember what I said, but a week later, I had my son. My wife agreed to it. Didn't pick out a car, didn't pick out a truck, nothing. She just gave him to me. A week later, 1 week, I was in tears. I I couldn't believe it. I mean, wouldn't you went to a car lot and say, okay, I'm going to give him up, but I'll take this whatever was on the car lot. No, she just gave him to me, and I took care of him. So the Lord works in mysterious ways, and I won't tell you everything I told the Lord, but I told him I was not worthy of asking him for anything. But I said, if not for me, I'm telling you a little bit about what I told the Lord. I said, just do it for him, for my son. I said, give him a good start. He has nothing to do with any of this that's going on. I said, he's just an innocent bystander, and I said, I love him dearly, and I just want to make sure that he gets a good start in life. So, like I said, a week later, the Lord gave him to me. I couldn't believe it either. I'm still in astonishment. Anyway, you would have had to have listened to the phone call talking to my ex-wife at the time, and and I can't believe the miracle. The Lord's done several miracles for me throughout my life, and I'm sure He has for you too. Anyway, this video is getting long. I was just telling you about if you're the point of this video is if you're having trouble in your life, hang in there. Pray, 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 pray to Jesus Christ and God the Father. They are always listening. They're always there. They know everything you're doing. Just pray. And this might have been a good way for me to get, when I was talking to the Lord about my son, it was heart to heart. Heart to heart conversation. I'm not going to tell you everything I said, but anyway, it was a heart to heart conversation. And guys, y'all do the same thing. If you're going through a trial in your life, if you've been looked at, all your neighbors knew your wife was messing around. Can't even get out of see your taillights in the dark going down the road and another feller's pulling in that you thought was your friend, and everybody knows what's going on except you. I didn't know. All I ever done was work, welding work, give out, come home, just give out, tired, sweating. And we had a great big yard. I mowed that yard once a week, twice a week sometimes. It was so big, and I just had a push mower. I'd have to mow, you know, you know, go out there and mow a few hours and quit, and then come back the next day and finish up mowing, trimming, and all that stuff. I had a big yard. It'd take me 5 hours push mowing, so nonstop push mowing. I'd stop and put gas in the mower, crank it up, and keep going. So anyway, enough of that. I'm just reminiscing. I'm trying to give you uplifting things. What did we learn today? We learned to talk to the Lord, pray to the Lord. We learned to forgive somebody that, talking about my boss, learn to forgive somebody that that they realize that they done you wrong. I guess when I abruptly retired, they realized that, hey, he's not here. Who am I going to get to do this? Who am I going to get to do that? I guess. I really don't know. I'm so glad I'm out of that mess. Now, I'm 68. I retired when I was 62. And I tell you what, I've had so many people tell me how much younger I look. I was stressed out between that job and, and over my lifetime and trying to get enough money to pay all these bills that I didn't know I had racked up. Whew, man, I was covered up with bills. Paying for another man's clothes, paying for another man's food, and on top of everything else. And then, having to go to work and listen to all that too. I mean, it was a stressful life, and it was working on me. I, you know, I couldn't afford to miss one day of work. I couldn't afford it. I was scratching. So anyway, be sure to say a kind word to somebody. That's another point. If somebody says hello, have the decency to say hello. I mean, you're supposed to be smarter than me. You're a plant manager, right? You're a supervisor, right? Say hello. How long does that take? Hello. What, 1 second? It might make the difference in somebody's whole day. Say a kind word to somebody. Try to do a good deed. Do the best you can, and mainly talk to the Lord and tell Him your problems. Tell Him what's going on in your life. It's a struggle, I know, but I'm in a good spot now. I have a wonderful wife that I love dearly, and she loves me, and we get along just like just like peanut butter and jelly, just like peanut butter and jelly. And I just felt like I should tell this story. There's got to be one person out there that knows what I've been through, and maybe you've been through worse. Leave me a comment. Let me know your situation, okay? I'll be praying for you. And if you want me to pray for you, subscribe, leave a comment, and I'll be happy to pray for you. You don't have to tell me why. Just say, Jimmy, would you and your wife, Miss PIB, pray for me? I'll be happy to do so. We do every day. So, thank you guys for listening to me. I just thought I'd tell you this little story. I hope you found it somewhat entertaining. And, I feel like there's a lot of folks that's in the same or been in the same situation I've been in. Y'all have a blessed day. You're watching Primer is Best. My name is Jimmy. I'm on Facebook, Primer is Best, Instagram, Primer is Best. Got a second YouTube channel called Man on a Budget. I'm on Instagram, Man on a Budget 1, and I'm on Facebook, Man on a Budget. Y'all have a blessed day. God bless each and every one of y'all. I hope the Lord will watch over you and keep you safe. And don't forget to do a kind deed. Say a kind word to somebody. The Lord's watching you and me to see what we do, okay? We're all being tried. This is all a test. We got to pass, guys. God bless you. Catch you in the next one. See y'all later. Stay strong in the Lord. See y'all later.